In about 2.5 minutes. And we're coming up to our 1-minute warning. Just to confirm, everyone's good for white balance, everyone's good for sound checks. Perfect. Good morning. I'm Constable James Dixon, and I'm very pleased to be welcoming everyone to York Regional Police Headquarters for our highlighting of the process conference for Project Wrangler. Today we're going to be hearing from representatives from York Regional Police, from Peel Regional Police, from London Police Service, from the Toronto Police Service, and from the Ontario Provincial Police. We'd also like to have a big thank you to our friends at Sûreté de Quebec that are not in attendance today. I'd now like to turn the stage over to Chief of York Regional Police, Jim MacSween.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to York Regional Police Headquarters. Today, we will be sharing the results of Project Wrangler, a nearly year-long investigation into a criminal group responsible for a host of violent crimes across the province of Ontario. An investigation this far-reaching would be impossible without extensive collaboration, and its success came thanks to teamwork between a number of policing agencies. A huge thank you to our partners at the Toronto Police Service, Peel Regional Police, London Police Service, the Ontario Provincial Police, and as you've just heard, the Sûreté de Quebec. I'm pleased to welcome representatives from those agencies here today, Chief Nishan Duraiappah of Peel Regional Police, Chief Truong from London Police Service, Acting Deputy Chief Joe Matthews of the Toronto Police Service, and Chief Superintendent Karen Gonneau of the Ontario Provincial Police. My sincere thanks to each and every one of you for being here today. And of course, my thanks to all who contributed to Project Wrangler for their diligent work leading to today's announcement. As a result of this investigation, 13 people have been arrested and face more than 150 charges. 2 more are still wanted by police. These offenses run the gamut of violent crime: shootings and carjackings in busy public places, armed robberies at jewelry and cell phone stores, home invasion robberies that resulted in shootings and murder. These acts were brazen, they were brutal, and they're completely unacceptable. When it comes to committing violence, these suspects certainly did not discriminate. They showed complete disregard for the value of human life, and they left hundreds of victims in their wake. When a store or a bank is robbed, or a car or cash is stolen, we're not just losing property. Our communities are losing their collective sense of safety and security. People are shopping, doing business, or going to work in fear thanks to these criminal groups. We owe it to those victims to investigate these criminal groups extensively and to ensure they're prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That wouldn't be possible without this collaboration across jurisdictions. I'm thankful also for the support of the Ministry of the Solicitor General in the administration of the multi-jurisdictional major case model. And I'm incredibly proud of every member who committed their hard work and unwavering determination to this investigation. we will continue to stand united against organized crime and relentlessly track down and arrest those responsible for victimizing all of our communities. Getting these suspects off the streets has improved the safety of people, not only here in York Region, but in dozens of communities across Ontario, which makes it all the more important. You'll now hear from Superintendent Simon James, who will shed light on details of the operation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Superintendent Simon James of the York Regional Police, and I am one of the multi-jurisdictional major case managers appointed by the Province of Ontario for Project Wrangler. Today, I want to take you through how this investigation began, how it unfolded, and the coordinated law enforcement outcomes that were achieved by our partner agencies across both Ontario and Quebec. Project Wrangler was launched after police services across the province noted a series of violent incidents that at first appeared to be unrelated. Through careful analysis, information sharing, and the use of the province's major case management system, investigators identified patterns and connections that ultimately linked these incidents together. Given the severity, the mobility, and the risk associated with these violent crimes, a joint forces operation was formed that consisted of members from the York Regional Police, the Peel Regional Police, the Toronto Police Service, the London Police Service, the Ontario Provincial Police, and our partners with the Sûreté de Quebec. This was not a traditional street gang, but rather a coalition of adult men from different groups and locations who would align themselves for profit-motivated violence. Over many months, we allege that individuals within this network coordinated and carried out numerous organized offenses, including homicide, attempt homicide, home invasions, armed robberies, firearms-related offenses, and a number of serious incidents across other jurisdictions outside of just the GTA. In York Region, this included an armed robbery at a bank and a robbery of a cell phone store in the city of Markham. It included a violent home invasion that resulted in the shooting of one of the home's occupants in the city of Vaughan. In other jurisdictions, this network was responsible for a range of serious incidents. Just some examples include a shooting into a crowded emergency room in the city of London, Ontario, showing a complete disregard for the safety of patients, visitors, and staff in the hospital. An attempted shooting of a man on his driveway in Brampton, the shooting of a man in a crowded parking lot in Mississauga, in the city of Toronto, a violent home invasion, a school shooting, armed robberies targeting store owners, including one incident where a bullet narrowly missed a store clerk during a cell phone store robbery. These incidents, along with others, demonstrate the coordinated nature of this network and the multi-jurisdictional scope of this investigation. This network also extended into Rimouski, Quebec, where we allege individuals associated with this group were involved in a homicide inside a private residence. Our investigation also indicates that the group recruited and exploited younger individuals, using them as drivers and lookouts, and in some cases using them directly in the criminal activity themselves. What emerged was a view of an alleged criminal organization with a clear structure, a core group of older offenders who selected targets, coordinated transportation, facilitated access to weapons, managed proceeds, and an outer younger layer of individuals who were there to carry out instructions and support operations. Their actions were calculated, they were very mobile, and they were often extremely brazen. Through the combined work of our partner agencies, we have significantly disrupted this network today. We've identified individuals that we allege are key targets of this group, laid substantial charges related to homicide, attempted murder, robbery, firearms offenses, and participation in a criminal organization, and disrupted ongoing plots of involving gun violence, preventing further harm to the public. And to the public, we have to appeal today for their assistance to locate two outstanding dangerous suspects. A Canada-wide arrest warrant has been issued for 24-year-old Treston Casanova Amond of no fixed address. Mr. Casanova Amond is wanted on more than 20 criminal charges, including participation in a criminal organization, conspiracy to commit murder, robbery with violence. He has some ties to the Peel region area and the Greater Toronto area. A Canada-wide arrest warrant for first-degree murder has also been issued for Mr. Ingram Mohammed, 20 years of no fixed address. Mr. Mohammed has some ties to the Hamilton and Kitchener-Waterloo areas. He is wanted by the Sûreté de Quebec on charges related to the murder that I spoke of earlier. If you have information about either of their whereabouts, we urge you to please contact police or Crime Stoppers if you wish to remain anonymous. These individuals may pose a risk to public safety until they are located. What is clear from this investigation is that collaboration does work. No single police service could have addressed this level of organized, mobile, and trans-provincial violence alone. Project Wrangler demonstrates the strength, necessity, and effectiveness of unified policing when threats move across borders and seek to exploit them. I want to acknowledge the tireless work of our investigators, our crime analysts, our frontline officers, our specialty units, and every partner agency represented here today. Their professionalism and dedication have made these results possible. The public can be confident that when violent individuals attempt to cause harm in our communities, whether in one city or across multiple provinces, our police services will stand together, we will pool resources, and use every lawful tool available that we have at our disposal to stop them. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. I'll now invite to the microphone Peel Regional Police Chief Nishan Duraiappah.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. I just want to begin by thanking Chief MacSween and York Regional Police for hosting us together and to congratulate, even though there's some senior leaders here from different police services, to congratulate the investigators that really did the heavy work and heavy lifting. And to Superintendent James's point, it is a perfect example about how agencies across multiple jurisdictions can demonstrate positive outcomes when it comes to what we're seeing in the community. I want to highlight that, we are here in force to show that the community's expectations when there is harm being caused right across Greater Toronto, Ontario, and even into other provinces is that we work collaboratively together to show a positive outcome. So the home invasions, the shootings, the egregious activities that are being illustrated even on these videos are ones which the community expects us to show result, and that's what is important about today. As it pertains to Peel's involvement in Project Wrangler, it began when we received critical information from York Regional Police regarding an individual, Danielle Levy-Porter, which is highlighted in obviously the arrests, that was a suspect known to us in Peel for a previous shooting. Acting on this information with York Regional Police, our Peel officers and investigators were able to successfully coordinate the arrest of Levy-Porter in Peel Region. His arrest and takedown resulted in evidence being revealed connecting him to multiple violent offenses and a core network of other offenders with strong ties to Peel Region and York and the GTA. This network was responsible for a 6-month spree of shootings, robberies, attempt murders, home invasions, and offenses that spanned, as you've heard, into GTA, London, and Quebec. It quickly became very clear to us that these offenders operated with increased sophistication, leveraging encrypted communications and advanced technology to conceal their activities. Of the 15 offenses criminal events that are highlighted as a result of this project takedown, 5 occurred in Peel Region, Mississauga, and Brampton, impacting 7 victims. We also discovered, and as Superintendent James highlighted, that many of these offenders that were arrested in the project were already on a form of release. I highlight that, and I know Chief MacSween has highlighted it previously, that this continues to be a problem where a small amount of people create the biggest amount of harm. As highlighted, this group tasked younger individuals and associates based in Peel Region to carry out their organized operations on their behalf, including robbery and firearms offenses. We continue to see young people that are involved in criminal networks being exploited because they are vulnerable and they're willing to participate. Several of the major incidents revealed use consistent pattern of targeted violence and organized planning in Peel addresses, vehicles being used, firearms being used in the commission of offenses, and they were not isolated events. They were very well organized at every step of the way. I'm proud to say that the outcome of today and the work by the remarkable investigators across multiple jurisdictions has effectively stopped a network that would have continued to cause harm right across this province and many other communities. Violence continues to be what grips our community on every doorstep, and we need to show the community that there is a concerted effort across different police agencies in collaboration to dismantle them right across this province. I want to again sincerely thank York Regional Police, London, Toronto OPP, and our partnering agencies for demonstrating this in every possible way. Congratulations. I'll turn this back to Constable Dixon. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I'm now going to call to the microphone Chief of the London Police Service, Ty Truong.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank my fellow police chiefs to my left and acting deputy chiefs and chief superintendents and all the justice partners and everyone involved in Project Wrangler for your leadership and your commitment. I also want to thank members of the media for joining us. Your attention to this issue right here matters, because what we are talking about today doesn't only affect the safety here in York Region, it affects the safety across multi-jurisdictions in the province, and it impacts every person in our community. Project Wrangler represents exactly what is required to confront modern-day gun violence and organized crime. A coordinated, intelligence-led response across multiple jurisdictions focused on individuals and networks who believe they can move freely from city to city along our highways and across multiple borders without any consequence. The violence we are addressing today is not random and is not confined to one community. The people responsible do not care where a municipal boundary starts or where the boundary begins. On December 14th, 2024, London was shaken by brazen, targeted acts of gun violence. A pursuit through our city ended at the entrance to Victoria Hospital's emergency room department, a place that is supposed to symbolize healing, safety, and trust. Multiple rounds were fired in a public space at the doors of an emergency room while patients, families, hospital staff, and paramedics were only meters away. Through Project Wrangler, and because of the detailed work by investigators and analysts across multiple police services, those responsible for this violence have been identified and charged. I want to thank Superintendent James and the multi-jurisdictional team of investigators who devoted countless hours to this work. And again, thank all the police services involved, and a special thanks to Chief Jim MacSween and all members of York Regional Police for leading this joint forces operation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I'll now be inviting to the stage Toronto Police Service Acting Deputy Joe Matthews.
Good morning. On behalf of our Chief, Myron Demke, I thank you for being here. The Toronto Police Service is proud to stand with our law enforcement partners to highlight the success of Project Wrangler. Community safety is at the heart of everything we do, and Project Wrangler is a strong example of what can be achieved through coordinated policing. In Toronto, the offenses to this project include armed robberies, a home invasion, and a shooting. These are violent crimes that create real fear for residents, whether they're in their homes or simply going about their daily lives. While major crime indicators in Toronto have gone down this year, including homicides, shootings, auto thefts, robberies, and break-and-enters, we know incidents like these have a significant impact on how safe people feel. That's why projects like this matter. Together, we're taking dangerous people off our streets, individuals who have shown no regard for the safety of others. Many of those arrested now face charges for breaching probation, disobeying court orders, or failing to comply with release conditions. We will continue to support measures to strengthen bail compliance for repeat violent offenders and enhance our community safety across Toronto. Thank you to all of our partners and everyone involved in bringing these offenders into custody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now I'd like to invite to the podium from the Ontario Provincial Police, Chief Superintendent Karen Gonneau.
Good morning, everyone. Project Wrangler is a clear reminder that violence does not stop at municipal borders. Criminal organizations do not confine themselves to one city. They spread across regions, impacting communities in both urban and rural areas. Organized crime members and other criminals are opportunistic, and if they're able to build a strong criminal network, their influence spreads across the province-wide. For the Ontario Provincial Police, it relates to an attempted murder in Ramera, approximately 160 kilometers north of Toronto. That is the reality of organized crime. Its reach is wide and its consequences are devastating. We know the harm gangs and criminal networks inflict on individuals, families, and entire communities. This is about real people living in fear, and it's unacceptable. To be clear, those who choose violence and endanger our communities will face a united front. We will find you, and we will hold you accountable. I want to echo the words of my colleagues and extend my sincere thanks to all of the services represented here today. The success of Project Wrangler demonstrates what is possible when law enforcement unite to tackle violent crime without barriers. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Superintendent. At this time, we're going to open the floor for questions and answers. I ask that you please attend the microphone over at the side, that you state your name, the outlet you're with, and who the question is directed at. At this time, we also ask that all questions being asked be directly related to Project Wrangler. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marion Bérubé. I'm a reporter for Radio-Canada, French EBC. So I was just wondering if you could tell us a bit more about this criminal organization. Like, what were their motives? Because you talk about murders, loads of different crimes. So were they against, do they have a drug trafficking? What kind of what were they looking for in those crimes? And were they targeted people in particular, especially for the murders? So just, a bit more about all of that.
Oh, thank you for the question. This group, their driving factor is profit. They're a very mobile, transient group in the fact that they're all over the province of Ontario. They're into numerous places in Quebec. And their driving factor and the driving reason that motivates them is financial gain. They're committing profit-motivated violence would be the best term to describe this group. They are committing crimes for a variety of reasons, but ultimately what it all boils down to in the end is money.
Okay, thank you. And other question, you mentioned that they were a coalition of groups, so were they members of other criminal organizations? Were the suspects, the people arrested, were they already knew by police before?
Yeah, this group is a little bit unique in that it involves a number of individuals who have ties to different groups in the province of Ontario and Quebec. This is not a singular street gang. This is a network of individuals with different backgrounds, pasts, and associations in many cases to different gangs working together for profit.
Hi, Abby O'Brien with the Toronto Star. I was just wondering if you could clarify which homicide Mr. Mohammed is wanted for first-degree murder in relation to.
Yes, so that homicide occurred on the 29th of November, 2024 in Rimouski, Quebec. I can advise that the Sûreté de Quebec responded to an address in that town. As a result of the service, a homicide investigation commenced. A 35-year-old male, Michael Levesque Fitzpatrick, was found deceased at the scene. Evidence from the Project Wrangler investigation has assisted in that homicide investigation. And I can tell you that a number of individuals associated with this group are now charged in Mr. Levesque Fitzpatrick's murder. Doniel Levy-Porter, Josiah Cooper, and Mr. Ingram Mohammed, who, as I mentioned, is wanted at this time. An additional male, Guillaume Peru, was also taken into custody by the Sûreté in the last month, I believe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beth McDonnell, CTV. You talked about how there was kind of a group of older men that were kind of in charge and facilitating the incidents, but then there was also some younger people that were being recruited. How is this recruitment happening? Is it, just hanging out at people at homes? Are they going to schools? Or is this happening over the internet? For people that are concerned about youth being brought into criminal organizations, what do we learn here?
No, it's an excellent question, and quite frankly, it's probably the most disturbing component of this when you're investigating it. You're seeing very impressionable, vulnerable youth being groomed to join this group. Money is a big factor. They're offering them money. I think they recognize, too, that in a number of these youth, they have a less likely chance of staying and spending significant time in jail, so they extradite that. They try to maximize that, knowing that youth usually don't have the same kind of jail sentences that adults get. There is a status thing in this group where they're providing them with more and more responsibility and trying to build them up in the group. So it's a mixture of things, but ultimately you're seeing kids, and I mean like 14, 15-year-old kids, who are being dragged into horrific, violent situations, and it's concerning.
Okay, and then you said this is not a street gang. Someone said that. Sorry, but what is the difference? If it's not if it sounds like it's a criminal organization, it sounds like similar to a street gang. Again, it's confusing as there's so many different locations and so many different people. How are these people connected, really? Are they?
Yep. So we allege it's a criminal organization, and there's a number of similarities. There is individuals in this group with various different associations to gangs. That's a broad statement. I'm not saying that about everybody. But these are individuals who have, from all over Ontario and Quebec, who are working together to commit violent crimes. So is there similarities? Yes, but we're not naming this as a set street gang, and I'm not going to be providing the names of the gangs involved who have associations in this case at this time.
Just wondering, you mentioned the main motivation was financial profit and gain. Do you have a sense of the value of what was stolen, disrupted, damaged? Do you have kind of an overview of the damage and theft that was caused here?
I don't have a monetary amount for you, but to me, the biggest destruction is all the victimization that occurs in any one of these incidents, whether it's a bank robbery, whether it's a home invasion. There's so many direct victims and peripheral victims around the crime. I think that's the biggest damage that is overall in this case that we see. Obviously, there's a significant monetary component too, but I don't have that exact number.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, just to sort of pick up on a question that you asked, Beth. Can you give us more of insight on when you realized that there was a pattern here, that they are all connected because there are such varying crimes here? How were you able to link them as part of a group?
Yeah, that's a good question. And Ontario is one of the more progressive provinces in the country that has a major case management system. It came about going back to the 90s after the Bernardo and the Campbell inquiry and all of the events that occurred back then. And what it does is it ensures that police services communicate with each other. It ensures that resources are shared and pooled, and it looks for linkages. So as these violent incidents began to unfold, all of these police agencies were speaking to each other, they were communicating with each other, and trends and patterns start to develop. And through that, evidence eventually comes out of some of these incidents that links them together. That evidence is digital, it can be forensic, there's a whole multitude of reasons. But because of that system, we have been able to make linkages, I think, quicker than many different provinces and states in the U.S. and things like that. It's quite effective, and that's kind of why this happened so rapidly, and we were able to pool our resources so quickly.
What are some of the patterns? Is it people showing up at different, or associates being involved in several different crimes?
You're seeing a multitude of individuals. You're seeing a number of very violent crimes with firearms typically being used. I'm not going to get into all the actual details of evidence, of course, to preserve the investigation, but a number of the situations were being committed in similar ways, and those patterns were picked up also through the use of some of our crime analysts who are very helpful, who are looking for those patterns and trying to make linkages. Thank you.
Good morning, Rhianne Campbell, City News. You said earlier that you've substantially dismantled this organized group. My question is a bit of a two-parter. First of all, would you say that there's a ringleader involved in all of this, and have they been caught?
There is a clearly defined hierarchy. I would say that, but I'm not going to get into all the specifics of that to preserve the investigation. But to your point, yes, there's a very defined hierarchy in this group. And many of the upper echelon and what we allege are the top individuals have been arrested at this time, yes.
Is police worried that, going forward, we're going to be seeing more of this kind of organized crime popping up and essentially affecting all of the rest of our province?
Organized crime is alive and well, and I think that from the investigative side, the most concerning component to it is how it is adapting. It is becoming very mobile and very complex, and to solve cases that involve organized crime from the police side of things is becoming more and more complex. I think this will have a dent, but I'm a realist. I know that it's not going to stop all organized crime activity in the region and the area right now.
We've also seen community groups speaking about, young boys in the community going missing. Would you say that this kind of crime is also involved or correlated to what we've also been seeing in the community?
Well, I think you're seeing young kids who are being targeted, not even realizing it, for violence. It's hard to see, to be honest, when you start investigating it. I'm sure many people here have kids. These are very young children, and they're being brought into crazy situations of extreme violence, and it's very concerning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our press conference for Project Wrangler. If you would like to facilitate one-on-one interviews, please speak with the representatives from the required police service. Thank you very much.